Alex Carter sat in the quiet cafe, drumming his fingers against the table. He wasn't the type to get nervous, but today was different. Across from him sat Emma Bennett, a woman he had only met twice before. They were strangers in almost every way, yet they were about to make a life-changing decision together. "I have read through the contract," Emma said, her voice steady but distant. Her brown eyes scanned Alex's face, trying to gauge his reaction. "It seems straightforward enough. But let me be clear. This is a business arrangement, nothing more." Alex nodded, relieved. He adjusted his tie, a habit he had when trying to hide his unease. "I couldn't agree more. We'll be helping each other out. Nothing romantic, no emotional complications, just a mutually beneficial arrangement." Emma sighed softly, her fingers tracing the edge of her coffee cup. "You get access to your inheritance, and I get the financial stability I need to save my family business. Simple, simple." The word hung in the air between them, as if daring to contradict the complex reality of what they were about to do. Alex's family had money, old money, tied up in trusts and stipulations. His grandfather, a shrewd businessman, had left a will full of rules. One of them was clear. Alex could only access his full inheritance if he married by the age of 30. With his 30th birthday just months away, the pressure was on. Emma, on the other hand, was drowning in debt. Her family's small bookstore, a beloved fixture in their town, was on the verge of closure. She had exhausted every option: loans, crowdfunding, even selling personal belongings. Nothing had worked when a mutual friend suggested the idea of a marriage of convenience. It had sounded absurd. But desperation has a way of making the absurd seem reasonable. After a brief meeting to discuss the terms, both Alex and Emma had agreed. They would marry, remain together for 1 year, and then part ways once their goals were achieved. The ceremony was small and efficient, just like their arrangement. There were no flowers, no emotional vows, and no first dance. They signed the marriage license in a quiet courthouse room, their witnesses being Alex's assistant and Emma's best friend. Emma wore a simple white dress, and Alex had on his usual tailored suit. They exchanged rings, plain bands that held no sentimental value. As the officiant declared them husband and wife, Emma felt a strange weight settle over her. This wasn't how she had imagined her wedding day as a little girl. Alex, noticing her somber expression, leaned in and whispered, "Don't worry, it's just paperwork." Emma forced a smile. Right? Paperwork? To maintain the appearance of a real marriage, Alex and Emma moved into a shared apartment. It was a spacious loft in the city, filled with sleek furniture and minimalistic decor. Emma couldn't help but feel out of place among the modern surroundings. "You can redecorate if you want," Alex offered, gesturing toward the empty walls. "Make it feel more homey." Emma shook her head. "It's fine. I am not planning to stay long enough to make it worth the effort." Alex nodded, though her words stung more than he expected. He wasn't used to caring what other people thought, but Emma's indifference unsettled him. They quickly settled into a routine. Mornings were quiet, with Alex leaving early for work and Emma spending her time managing the bookstore. Evenings were filled with polite but distant conversations over dinner. They were civil, even friendly at times, but never crossed the boundary into genuine intimacy. As weeks turned into months, small moments began to chip away at the wall between them. One evening, Alex came home to find Emma curled up on the couch, reading a book. "Is that from your store?" he asked, sitting down across from her. Emma nodded, her eyes lighting up. "It's an old classic. I love finding hidden gems in the stacks." Alex smiled. "I didn't know you were such a bookworm." "There's a lot you don't know about me," she replied, her tone teasing. Alex leaned back, studying her. "Then tell me, what's one thing about you that most people wouldn't guess?" Emma hesitated, then said, "I love to paint. I don't get much time for it anymore, but it's my escape." Alex filed that information away, intrigued. "I'd like to see your work sometime." Emma laughed softly. "Maybe." One rainy afternoon, Emma was reorganizing books in the store when Alex walked in unexpectedly. He held an umbrella in one hand and a steaming cup of coffee in the other. "I figured you could use a break," he said, handing her the coffee. Emma blinked, surprised. "What are you doing here?" Alex shrugged. "I had some free time and thought I'd check out the famous Bennett books." Emma couldn't help but smile. "Well, welcome. Feel free to browse." As Alex wandered through the aisles, he found himself drawn to the warmth of the place. The mismatched shelves, the faint smell of old paper, and Emma's quiet determination to save it all. It was endearing in a way he hadn't expected. When he left that day, Emma watched him go, feeling a flicker of something she couldn't quite name. One night, after a long day, Emma found Alex sitting alone on the balcony, staring out at the city lights. She hesitated, then joined him, bringing 2 cups of tea. "Rough day?" she asked. Alex nodded, his usual confident demeanor replaced by a rare vulnerability. "Sometimes it feels like I am just a puppet, dancing to the tune of my family expectations." Emma sipped her tea, her heart softening. "I get that. I've spent my whole life trying to prove I'm capable of saving the store, even when it feels impossible." Their eyes met, and for the first time, they saw each other not as business partners, but as 2 people carrying their own burdens. As they sat together under the night sky, a quiet understanding passed between them. Neither said it aloud, but both were beginning to realize that their arrangement might not be as simple as they had thought. The days turned into weeks, and the boundaries Alex and Emma had carefully drawn began to blur. Their polite conversations at dinner evolved into deeper talks about their dreams, fears, and childhood memories. Alex, who had always kept people at arm's length, found himself looking forward to Emma's company. One evening, as they cleaned up after dinner, Alex caught Emma humming a tune. "What song is that?" he asked, drying a dish. Emma smiled, slightly embarrassed. "Just something my mom used to sing to me when I was a kid." "It's silly. Sing it for me," Alex said, surprising himself with the request. Emma hesitated, but something in Alex's tone made her feel safe. She sang a few soft lines, her voice clear and sweet. Alex listened intently, his chest tightening in a way he couldn't explain. "That was beautiful," he said when she finished. Emma blushed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "Don't get used to it." One Saturday morning, Alex knocked on Emma's door. "Get dressed," he said, a rare excitement in his voice. Emma frowned, confused. "Why? Where are we going?" "It's a surprise," Alex replied. Skeptical but intrigued, Emma followed his instructions. An hour later, they pulled up to an art studio. Emma's eyes widened as Alex led her inside. "You said you love to paint but don't have time. So I thought we could spend the day here," Alex explained, looking a little nervous. Emma was speechless. No one had ever done something so thoughtful for her. "Alex, thank you," she whispered. As they spent the day painting, laughing and teasing each other, Emma felt something shift between them. She wasn't sure what it was, but it scared and thrilled her at the same time. That night, back at the apartment, Alex and Emma sat on the couch, admiring their amateur artwork. "Yours is definitely better," Emma said, pointing at Alex's abstract creation. "Are you kidding? Yours actually looks like a landscape. Mine's just colors," Alex replied with a chuckle. Their laughter faded into a comfortable silence. Alex turned to Emma, his expression serious. "I had fun today, more fun than I've had in a long time." Emma met his gaze, her heart pounding. "Me too." Without thinking, Alex reached for her hand. Emma didn't pull away. They sat like that for a while, neither of them speaking, but both feeling the weight of something unspoken. A week later, the inevitable happened. Alex and Emma were watching a movie, sitting closer than usual. During a particularly emotional scene, Emma wiped away a tear. "Are you crying?" Alex teased, though his voice was gentle. "Shut up," Emma said, laughing as she nudged him playfully. Alex caught her hand, holding it longer than necessary. Their eyes met, and the world seemed to pause. Slowly, Alex leaned in, giving Emma plenty of time to pull away. She didn't. Their lips met in a soft, tentative kiss. It wasn't planned or perfect, but it felt real. When they pulled apart, Emma looked at Alex, her emotions a mix of fear and hope. "That wasn't part of the agreement," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. Alex smiled. "Maybe we need to revise the agreement." After that night, their relationship changed. They still maintained the facade of a practical marriage in public, but behind closed doors, they began to explore the possibility of something more. Alex surprised Emma with flowers for no reason. Emma cooked Alex his favorite meals without him asking. They spent their evenings talking, laughing, and sometimes just sitting in comfortable silence. But with every step forward, Emma couldn't shake the nagging doubt in the back of her mind. This wasn't supposed to happen. What would happen when their year was up? Just as Alex and Emma were beginning to embrace their feelings for each other, an unwelcome figure from Alex's past resurfaced. One afternoon, Alex came home to find Emma sitting at the kitchen table, her face pale. "What's wrong?" he asked, immediately concerned. Emma held up a letter. "This came for you." Alex took the envelope, his jaw tightening when he saw the sender's name. It was Claire, his ex-fiancée. "Who is she?" Emma asked, her voice tense. "Someone I haven't seen in years," Alex said, avoiding Emma's gaze. Emma's heart sank. "Why is she writing to you now?" "I don't know," Alex admitted, though his tone suggested otherwise. The letter was brief, but unsettling. Claire claimed she needed to meet Alex to discuss something important from their past. Alex debated whether to tell Emma the full truth, but decided against it, not wanting to upset her. Emma, however, wasn't blind to Alex's unease. She could feel him pulling away, even as he insisted everything was fine. One night, she confronted him. "Alex, if we're going to make this work, you need to be honest with me. Who is Claire, and what does she want?" Alex sighed, running a hand through his hair. "She's someone I was engaged to before. It ended badly. I don't know why she's reaching out now, but I'll handle it." Emma crossed her arms. "Why didn't you tell me this sooner?" "I didn't think it mattered," Alex said, though he knew it was a weak excuse. Emma shook her head, hurt. "It matters to me." Against his better judgment, Alex agreed to meet Claire. They sat in a corner booth of a dimly lit restaurant, the air thick with tension. "I didn't come here to cause trouble," Claire began, her tone soft but guarded. "I just needed to see you." "What do you want, Claire?" Alex asked, his voice cold. Claire hesitated, then said, "I made a mistake. I shouldn't have left you. I thought maybe we could try again." Alex stared at her, stunned. "You think I'd just forget everything you did and take you back?" Claire's eyes filled with tears. "I know I hurt you, but I've changed." "I'm sorry, Alex." Alex shook his head. "It's too late, Claire. I've moved on." When Alex returned home, Emma was waiting for him. "How did it go?" she asked, her voice tight with worry. "It's over," Alex said, sitting down beside her. "She wanted to get back together, but I told her no." Emma searched his face for any hint of lingering feelings. "Do you mean that?" Alex took her hands in his. "Emma, I don't want anyone else. I want you." Emma's eyes filled with tears. "Then stop keeping things from me. If we're going to do this, I need to trust you." "You're right," Alex said, his voice full of regret. "No more secrets, I promise." As they held each other, Emma realized how far they had come, and how much further they still had to go. The road ahead wouldn't be easy, but for the first time, she felt like they had a real chance at something lasting. For the next few weeks, things between Alex and Emma seemed to stabilize. Their bond grew stronger as they committed to open communication and honesty. Alex showered Emma with affection, and she responded with equal warmth. But despite their progress, Emma couldn't shake the nagging feeling that Claire's sudden reappearance was not the end of the story. She noticed Alex occasionally zoning out, lost in thought. When she asked him about it, he brushed it off, but his distant behavior was unmistakable. One evening, Emma decided to confront him. "Alex, is there something you're not telling me? I can tell something's bothering you." Alex sighed and looked away. I've been thinking about the deal we made, why we got married in the first place. I wonder if what we're building is even real. Emma felt as if the ground beneath her had shifted. What do you mean? Are you saying you don't believe in us? It's not that, Alex said quickly. It's just Claire's return made me question a lot of things. Not about her, but about myself. What if I'm not good enough for you? What if this whole thing falls apart? Emma's voice trembled as she replied, Alex, I didn't marry you expecting perfection. I married you because I saw someone worth building a life with, even if it started unconventionally. But if you can't believe in us, how can I? The next day, Emma decided to distract herself by organizing their shared office space. While sorting through some papers in Alex's desk drawer, she found an envelope marked with Claire's name. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a copy of a contract, a business deal involving Claire and Alex's company. The contract was dated a week before Claire had reached out to Alex. Emma's mind raced. Did Alex already know Claire was coming back? Was this whole thing planned? When Alex came home that evening, Emma confronted him. What is this? She demanded, holding up the envelope. Alex's face paled. Emma, I can explain. Explain what? That you've been lying to me this entire time? Did you know she was coming back? Were you working with her behind my back? It's not what it looks like, Alex said desperately. She approached my company before I even saw her letter. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to upset you. I swear I didn't plan anything with her. Emma shook her head, her eyes filling with tears. You promised me no more secrets, Alex. How can I trust you when you keep hiding things from me? That night, Emma packed a bag and left. Alex pleaded with her to stay, but she needed time to think. She went to stay with her best friend, Lily, who listened patiently as Emma poured out her heart. Do you still love him? Lily asked, after Emma finished explaining. I don't know, Emma admitted. I want to, but how can I love someone who keeps hurting me? Love isn't easy, Lily said gently. Sometimes it means fighting for someone even when it's hard. But you have to decide if he's worth the fight. Meanwhile, Alex was a wreck. The apartment felt unbearably empty without Emma. He realized how much he had taken her presence for granted, and how deeply he had hurt her. Determined to make things right, Alex started by cutting all professional ties with Claire. He knew he couldn't rebuild Emma's trust if Claire remained a shadow in their lives. He also reflected on his own insecurities and how they had driven his actions. For the first time, Alex admitted to himself that he was scared. Scared of losing Emma, scared of not being enough, scared of love itself. A week later, Alex showed up at Lily's house, a bouquet of Emma's favorite flowers in hand. Emma hesitated before letting him in. Emma, Alex began, his voice raw with emotion. I messed up. I let my fear and my past get in the way of what we were building. But I swear to you, I'm done with secrets. I'm done letting my insecurities control me. I love you, Emma. Not because of our agreement, not because of convenience, but because of who you are. You make me want to be better. Emma's eyes filled with tears. Alex, I need to know I can trust you. Words aren't enough anymore. I know, Alex said. That's why I've made changes. I ended the deal with Claire. I've also been seeing a counselor to work through my issues. I'm not perfect, but I'm trying, Emma. For you, for us. Emma decided to give Alex another chance, but she made it clear that it would take time to rebuild her trust. They started slow, having honest conversations about their feelings and fears. Alex opened up about his past with Claire, admitting how her betrayal had left him guarded and doubtful of love. Emma, in turn, shared her own fears of being vulnerable and getting hurt. Their relationship wasn't perfect, but it was real. They began to rediscover each other, not as two people bound by a contract, but as partners choosing to build a life together. Months later, Alex surprised Emma with a second proposal, this time with no strings attached. He took her to the art studio where they had spent one of their happiest days together. As Emma admired the paintings they had left behind, Alex got down on one knee. Emma, he said, his voice steady but full of emotion. I married you for convenience, but I fell in love with you for real. Will you marry me again, not because of an agreement, but because you want to? Emma's eyes filled with tears as she nodded. Yes, Alex, I'll marry you again. Their second wedding was small, but filled with genuine love and joy. This time, there were no contracts, no hidden agendas. Just two people who had chosen each other despite their flaws and past mistakes. Alex and Emma's journey wasn't perfect, but it was theirs. They proved that love born from practicality could grow into something passionate and lasting, as long as both people were willing to fight for it. As they danced under the stars at their reception, Emma rested her head on Alex's shoulder, finally at peace. I love you, she whispered. I love you too, Alex replied, holding her close. And this time, they both knew it was forever.